All right, guys. So sorry for the delay. Had a little technical difficulty this morning. We are going to be covering custom interiors this morning. This is going to be, like I said, probably something that we'll try and get a couple of different videos up because I think different perspective on this is good. So I will lean on a couple of different people and see what we can get, including my wife, and see if she'll make a InDesign video for you guys. Because like I said, it's good to have different perspective on this stuff. We're going to be using Google Slides today. It's, while it's a basic program, it's really versatile. It's something that I think is very easy for a lot of people to be able to pick up and be able to do this stuff. So Jacob, you are going to be the one that is leading today's class. Do you want to take over?
Yes. So with Google Slides, it's going to be very basic. Let me go and start sharing my screen here. You aren't going to get a lot of the side panels or toolbars that you see other places. So you're not going to necessarily see, like if we open up Photoshop here, the summa is just saving out. If you open Photoshop up here, you're going to have all these extra tools on the left-hand side and all these confusing things. With Google Slides, you're not going to get that. It's very basic, very drag and drop style. So once you're in here, I'm not going to show you my slides dashboard because there's secret projects in there for other people. But once you're in here, you will notice, okay, we're on a regular slide. It looks like a PowerPoint here. First thing you're going to want to do is go File, Page Setup, change it from widescreen to custom, and then you can enter any size you want here. So we're just going to do a traditional 6x9. We're not going to be using bleed or anything like that today. So we'll just go ahead and click Apply. And you will see this quickly changes sizing here. So now we're just going to left click and drag, delete out these boxes because we clearly do not want those two boxes on our page when we go to actually upload it. So from here, we decided that we are going to use a dog record recorder, for different tasks. Matt has one actually that he uses, and I looked at the interior today, and there's something, show them inside the one thing that drives you absolutely nuts. I'll stop sharing my screen here.
Yeah, let's find that page. It was easier to find when we were looking at the previews on this thing.
I could have actually just shared mine.
It's okay, I got it right here. So if you guys notice at the very top of that page right there where it says other info, right? Like, why did you stop that? Why does it not say other information? Like, you have all this space at the top of your page. Yeah, that stuff drives me nuts. Like, if you're going to abbreviate things, use like the common abbreviations. Like, for example, on this side on here too, parent info. Like, I don't get it. Anyways, like, maybe it's my own personal like pet peeve or whatever, but it's like, plan your things so you can actually fit it the way that it's supposed to look.
Yes. No, that as soon as I saw that in the previewer, I was like, are you kidding me? So here we are. I see over in the chat, where do I get Google Slides? Simply type in Google Slides into your Chrome, Firefox, Windows Edge, whatever Explorer you use, and you'll be taken there. To start, we're going to kind of create a simple one here that kind of resembles this, but I think some of the spacing on this could be a lot better. Matt, could you agree with that?
Yeah.
For example,
it's just not laid out very well.
Do you need two large boxes for the dog's favorite game?
Probably not.
So
just back it up a second, right? Like, dog's favorite game. Like, as a dog owner, like, I don't ever think of anything as like, what's my dog's favorite game? My dog doesn't play games. Like, my dog,
is he pretty good at like Madden and stuff?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, I throw a ball with my dog, like, and he goes and grabs his toys. Like that, I guess that's his two favorite games.
So, we could have said favorite activity, favorite anything, but favorite game. He's not out here playing Madden. So we're going to start off. We're going to do a My Pets page. So similar to what you have in yours, but we're going to make it look a little better. Because I actually do not like how they have that box. So we're going to start with a rounded rectangle rather than the flat square. I think they look a lot classier. So simply let me delete this out and explain what I'm doing here. So insert, shape. You can see shapes here, arrows, call outs, equations. So shapes down here is a rounded rectangle. we're just going to left click and drag to size, and we can always change the sizing later. But left click and drag. And then you will notice this is filled in gray. We want this to be transparent. So as this is selected with the blue line around it, you'll see a paint bucket. This is your fill color. And we're going to turn this to transparent. Our outline color, we're just going to make sure it is black. And we could make this a little bit thicker if we wanted to, which we probably will. We'll probably go up to 2 or 3 pixels because at 1 pixel, you're looking pretty thin here. So 2 to 3 pixels is pretty typical for me to use. And then you can simply just drag this all around by left clicking and holding on it. You see they have a center line here to make sure your item is centered. They also have one and to let you know it's dead center if you would like. So we're going to start with this up at the top, and we are going to use some text here. So what we'll have to use is this text box. So click on that, left click and drag again. And again, this can all be changed. So what we'll do here is, what would you like this name? Just My Pet here, Matt?
I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, it's aimed at dogs too. I think that's the other thing that bothers me. It's like My Pet Record. It's like, you know, my dog's records or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, get tighter to whatever your custom avatar is. Get tighter to what the purpose that you're making this for.
So like this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We'll do information here. We'll change it up a lot. Information. And then we need a good font here. And I'm probably going to have to add a font. So similar to what we did the other day in BookBolt, you're going to probably have to add the font you want. Let's see. We're not going to go anything. Let's center this up in this box.
Yeah, Nergis with the key point right there. Dogs should be there should be an apostrophe possession.
Thanks, Matt. So now we have our first text box, and we're gonna actually keep this. We're gonna make this more of a square rather than a rectangle, but kind of keep it odd shaped. Is that gonna annoy you, Matt? Because I'm sending you this. I hope you know that.
Perfect.
And I'm gonna leave just one page inside as N4. So
hopefully it's like in the middle of the book, so I have to find it.
So now we're gonna do add photo. Do you actually add photos to yours?
No. I mean, that's one thing I do think about a little bit, right? Like, so some of these ones that are like add photo and stuff, how many people actually print their photos?
None.
Nobody, right? Like, I don't print any of my photos. Like, my photos are like, I'll share them on Facebook or Instagram, or I'll have them on my phone, but I haven't printed a photo in forever.
You want to change this up here from add photo?
No, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, it's a use case that some people are going to use probably, but it's just the things I think about.
I guarantee you there's people that still probably paste in here.
Yeah. I mean, of your guys' dog, Eric, or of your guys' baby? Because you guys just had a baby. So that, like, I can understand that.
Yes, they have guidelines. So same as...
Okay.
So same as Photoshop, just drag out from the rulers again. Okay. So from here, what we're going to do is I'm actually going to move these guidelines out because they're kind of confusing for me on the white background.
Just in terms of things that you guys should think about. So there have been some just studies, right? Like based on like what's happening with pregnancies and how often people are having kids in the United States and everything else. It is very clear that the pet market is going to grow quite a bit because more people are spending time and money on their pets and less people are having babies. So like the pet niche is a very good niche for you guys to think about getting into and creating things. People are very, very, very into their pets. It's one of those things that people are very price insensitive to. Like they spend money on this stuff.
I just watched a YouTube video the other day where some guy offered $50,000 to buy this lady's dog, and she said no.
Damn. I wouldn't sell my dog for 50K. Wouldn't even cross my mind. I would just say no.
So next we're going to insert a chart here to kind of get some formatting going down. So it's going to be a table. It's going to be 2 columns wide. And then let's see, 1, 2, 3, we'll do 6 long, 7 long. So here is going to be our table. And we can probably make the photo box a hair smaller for the simple fact that this is a 6x9. And this is why I order copies. If I don't like it, then it just stays up and I tweak what I know I don't like anymore. And we can always make things thinner here, thicker here. You can change just about everything on this table, however you would like it. And this is where, testing will come in. So we'll go black again here, if it would let me select the whole thing. There we go. Go back down to 2 pixels to match the top one. So at this point, we have where we can start writing information, okay? Like I said, Google Slides is very, very simple. So name. What's the name of your dog? Next up, breed. What breed is your dog? Color. What color is your dog?
We're using the English spelling of color?
Nope.
Just something to think about too. If you are from the UK or English is not your primary language, like Americans have different ways of spelling things than other versions of English.
So it's the UK way or the US way?
So now at this point, we'll select this text here. We'll try to keep it pretty similar to what we've been using. So I just want to make sure these were both the same.
Fucking Ron. Oh, God.
If you guys have any questions too, I'm answering right here in chat. So
yeah. UK way, US way, RJ way. That is so accurate. Last night we're at dinner and RJ starts saying something. I turned to his girlfriend Jocelyn. I'm like, "Do you understand him?" I was like, "I spend all day translating him. I'm not working tonight." She's like, "I don't have a clue what he's saying."
So here's page 1. Matt, does this have everything you need?
Yeah. So, I mean, like, this is just a basic information page. This is the kind of thing that, if you wanted to share with somebody because they were pet sitting, right? You want to make sure they had all the information. Like, I think that's the reason you're creating this.
So next, we're going to add a new page here. We could move into something like other information where it talks about, what their favorite games are and things of those sorts. But what we're going to do here is we're actually going to create the meal tracker. So do you feed your dogs once or twice a day?
Once a day.
Once a day?
My dog's pretty good at self-regulating. It's just weird for a schnauzer because they tend to just pig out. But yeah, once a day.
Yeah, we feed our cats twice a day because if not, they just eat it all, then puke it right back up.
Oh.
It's awful. So we have to give them 2 small portions a day because they'll fight over it. So they have their own bowl too, and I don't understand it. But
how did you change the interior on that box to make it gray?
So I just highlighted this side, left click, drag up, and then went to the fill option here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then we could have here's a little lighter. I think I like where I was sitting at though. Here's a little darker than we were. I think I like this one the best.
Mm-hmm.
Not too harsh, it's not too light. So next, what we'll do here, I'll go back a step. Add new page. So simply click the new slide button. Again, left click, drag. It'll highlight both of these boxes. Click delete, and now they are gone. So here we are. We have our first page. We have our second page. Now let's go ahead and do our meal tracker. So we'll start off text box. Pull out the text tool here. Left click, drag a box. You can change this box size later if it bothers you. So we'll do meal and meal tracker. So we'll highlight this text, change the font here to what we've been using, change our font size up. Let's see what this font size is. So 24. So we'll take this font to 24 as well. And then what we'll do here is we will center it, and then we can just cut this back smaller so we're not going to be clicking on it. And then simply just center it up. So at this point, we're sitting at the same place with the text line. So if we pull down, we always want to make sure that our text is sitting in the same place. You want everything to flow really well.
Exactly. So think about like if you guys are looking at a book, right? Like, and you're flipping it and suddenly like the titles jump up and down as you're going through the book. It's going to be super annoying. You're not going to like it. Like you want everything to be congruent, everything to fit and work the same way. The same reason you don't want to change fonts from page to page. You want it to be consistent.
So now that we know we're good there, we are going to put in a, let's see here. We can actually change this to meal and walk. Tracker, make this box wider. So now we're centered up. Make sure our lines are on the same point again.
Yeah. So I see a couple people in chat asking gray is not considered a color. No, it's a scale, black and white, right? Like, so it's just, they're using a lighter version. Really everything's printed in basically like grayscale, right? It's like darker colors, darker shades.
So now what we'll do here is let's go ahead and make our table again. So let's see, we need 8 here, and then we need 6, 7 this way, not 8. Let me redo this. So insert table, we need 6 across, 7 across, and then 8 down. So this chart's going to be a little bit bigger. We'll kind of work with the sizing and everything on it here. So we'll make this nice and big. We'll center it up. Go ahead and center it. And now it's just going to be playing around in this chart. So this box here, I actually would like to take out this, not that line. I always forget how to do this. Of course, it's not letting me do it. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and start adding our text. So AM, meals, and this is where I said you're going to have to start playing with the box size and fonts and everything. So AM meals, AM walks, and then PM meals, PM walks. And then actually that's all we're going to use here because most people don't do more than that. So we're going to do actually 5 by 8.
Yep.
Insert table 5 by 8.
Can you merge cells when you're doing this? So
yes.
Like do the layout. That's what I thought. Yeah.
So you can merge cells.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and make this back to size here. And again, this is just going to take some adjusting, and I don't make interiors very often, but when I do, I come right in here. So AM meals, AM walks, PM meals, PM walks. Okay. Next, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and highlight all these boxes. We're going to change our font to keep it the same. And then we're going to center all of these up. Same thing here. Change the font. Semi-bold. And then center them all up as well. So we can see boxes looking good. The most interesting man in the world. We're just going to kind of do some offset coloring here. So we'll take this column here. We'll turn it gray, the same one as before, which I believe we'll go back and look. We want to keep everything consistent through. So we're good here. It's actually the third one in, I believe. We'll go back and look.
Yep. Just a reminder, guys, if you guys are dropping questions into the chat, like more often than not, we're going to see it because it just moves pretty quickly. So if you do have a question, put it in Q&A. That way we can make sure that we see it. Good call, Melissa. Yeah, so this is something that I think that people need to think about a little bit more, right? So you can do the basic stuff, and this is fairly basic. We're showing you guys something that's pretty easy to set up, but by personalizing it a little bit more, by adding in some character to it, it'll make it really stand out when people like look on the look inside option and they see stuff, right? So like adding a dog paw or adding like a cute picture of a dog, like those little details go a long ways for making these things, identify more with your target audience.
So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to use this box. So we're going to insert image, and we're just going to upload one from computer, which is right here. It says love with the paw print. We're going to size this down, and we're simply going to put it in that box, okay? It's going to be small, but it's just a little icon that's going to make you stand out more than anyone else. I know Matt's has a few little paw prints in it.
Yeah, but they're pretty, like, I remember looking at this because we kind of reviewed it in the last challenge, just as like things not to do. This thing sells pretty well too, but like the color choice is poor on it, and then also this is my favorite thing about it. You want to stop sharing your screen for just a second?
Yes. I gotta find the button. Where is it? Here we go. There we go.
All right. So this was my favorite thing about it. Like for some reason it says pet, like it's like they left a word up here and they didn't notice it and it just cuts out of the middle of the paw print right there. But like I remember looking at this and like a lot of the details inside don't match up. Like they have different dog and like prints inside of it that don't match up with stuff. Like it just wasn't thought out very well.
And now what we're gonna do here is I'm actually just resaving this photo out in Photoshop. So the boundaries are even. So pet fix, and then let me start sharing my screen again.
For sure. Just in terms of something I think that we should touch on too, like realize that this is an actual like bound book, guys. So if you come too far into the interior with the thing that you're making, it's going to be right inside the margin there, and people aren't going to be able to use it. So that's why Jacob's making sure that he leaves space.
This picture is going to drive me nuts because it doesn't look like it's lined up because of how the L is. The L isn't as wide as the V, and the V is wider than the E. So this is where I'd go and actually find a different graphic for the simple fact that this will drive me nuts just from a designing standpoint, especially when...
Yeah, just leave it. It's fine. People get the point. Just leave it, bro. That's the annoying thing about guides sometimes too.
I'm going to get this. All right, here we go. That's good enough. So at this point, we have 2 days. There is not the annoying part of, just having M4 on here anymore. I think that alone is going to be something that probably annoys a lot of people. I've never seen it like this, ever. Yeah. I don't know if that's maybe a UK thing, since maybe this book was made from someone in the UK, since they did have the UK version of color. But this is how you start creating your interior. So if you just want to create a meal and walk tracker, then all you have to do is select this layer right here, page, I should say. So page 2, hit Control C on PC, Command C on Mac. And then every time you hit Control V or Command V, depending what platform you're on, you are going to paste this page over and over and over. And this is just one page. We could create 300 different pages in here. And then as you can see, it's catching up to me here. So if you actually just kind of hold it down instead of tapping it 100 times or however many times you want to use this interior, it'll actually just auto paste. As you can see, it's still catching up to me. So if I just hold Control V down for a second, you can see it kind of spazzes out on me here, and then it'll have to sit here and catch up. So we're at 93 pages. We'll make this to 100 here real quick. At this point, we have a meal and walk tracker for a dog, okay? File, download as, PDF. dog walk and meal tracker.
Did you
Carrier.
put, I think there's a question of the sizing. Did you show them how to do the sizing part of it?
That was the very first thing I did.
Okay.
So file, not that. File. Why isn't it letting me change it now? Page setup. From widescreen to custom, type in what you would like.
I don't know that question.
Okay. When do you do bleed? So if this chart extended past the edge of the page, okay. So if this chart extended past the edge of the page like this, for some reason, you would select bleed. Therefore, when bleed happens, you will have to increase your margin. So instead of a 6x9, you'd be at what, a 6.125 by 9.125. I usually download a template and then go from there with that because bleed is very annoying to me still.
Yeah, I mean, bleed is specifically, it's because you want it to go from edge to edge, like line paper. Alvaro says 9.25. So, bear with us. None of us are designers, so that is not my special talent. My special talent is figuring out how to sell things. So, if we don't know some of the terms, I know some people were talking about gutter, which I guess is the inside margin on a book. So,
yeah, the 0.25 is the actual bleeder or the trim around the edging. So you have to add that if you're gonna do the bleed or whatever. Yeah,
also, going back to another way to do this, I'll just insert a blank page here. If you are you just can't get what you want done in here. You don't like the shapes. You don't want to have to insert images and drop them around. Simply come over to Photoshop, create whatever size you're doing. So 6x9. Okay. Create, just use a transparent background or a white background. Put whatever you want in here. Put any design you want in here. So we'll just do example here. And then we will just go ahead and drag this on over. And we'll just put this on here real nice and big. We'll center it up. We'll save this as a PNG. Okay, so PNG example. Okay, we'll go back to Google Slides here. And we can actually just insert image, upload from computer, example, and boom. So you can do everything in Photoshop and then just quickly format it in here if you would like and save it out as a PDF.
Yeah, again, it's just a tool. Just doesn't matter how you get there. Be creative. All right, so let's go through the Q&A fairly quickly.
There's Jacob, there's that tool that you used the other day to actually calculate the pages for KDP to calculate the royalties. Remember, put 119. And
that was on Tangent.
Okay.
Yes, that was on Tangent.
All right, so Jane says, I spent a long time learning to make an interior in PowerPoint. Yesterday I used grayscale option. It looks grayscale, but I still downloaded full color. Any ideas why? I don't have a clue. I just don't use PowerPoint all that much anymore. I use slides for everything. It's so much easier. It's easier to share. Maybe ask Lisa. So Lisa Ann was the one that did the video on using PowerPoint to create an interior. Maybe ask her, Jane. It's in the group.
How do you get Google Slides again? Simply search Google Slides.
Yeah, just drive.google.com. I'm a complete newbie in all Adobe products. Is InDesign the best product between Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign? Is that the one you want to use for book interiors? I mean, they all have their purpose. InDesign is definitely the publishing tool, but you still need to be able to create things. Like InDesign is something that you can use to create like pages and stuff, but like if you're doing anything with images, anything, like they all have their purpose. So I wouldn't say that it's like the best tool. It's a great tool for doing this particular type of stuff. How do we change the size of interiors we got from you in PowerPoint?
I couldn't tell you the last time I opened PowerPoint, probably like 5th grade.
Yeah.
Lisa said she is doing a video on PowerPoint this weekend.
Yeah, perfect. Can you insert an already made PDF where you change some words?
I would use
it's basically what you did. It's just you would use a PNG instead of a PDF.
yes, or you can just use like I love PDF and merge things very easily.
Yeah. Why no bleed?
Because these lines do not go past the edges. So if we look at these do not go past the inside margins, so they do not need bleed. So if they went out here, you need bleed. If they stay within the margins, let me change this back down to size. If they stay within the margins, you do not need to have bleed on. So like this, no bleed needed.
Yeah, just think about it in terms of, does it go to the edge of the page or not? Best to leave your box transparent, or do you leave a light background? For me, that's like readability, right? Like you want to make sure it's clear, legible. There's lots of contrast. You use the background to give a little bit of contrast from the rest of the page to highlight like what that item is for. But yes, I would leave most of them transparent.
Also take into consideration that cream paper is cream. So if you're trying to match that with a box and your box is not transparent, odds are it's not going to match.
Yeah, for sure. Any idea what you set your guidelines at?
I just kind of feel them out. Mm-hmm. I come in, let me see, where am I sitting on this one? I come in usually about 3/4 of an inch, half an inch, just to be safe. Yeah, I'm at half an inch out right now on each side.
Thank you for the clarification, Alvaro. You put it better than I could. Covered that. We just covered that. Let's see. Leah, are there fonts or types of fonts that are clear winners? I think that's something you develop over time, like just understanding the fonts that you really like, the ones that look good, and it is very much like an experience thing. You just get used to doing that. I wouldn't say that like I can't point you in the direction of like, here are the top 10 fonts you should use for KDP, because it's going to depend on the niche and it's going to depend on what people are looking for. Just look at the things that you like, the things that you appreciate, and try and model after that.
Let's see, Marcia, what's the most number of pages in a book you recommend? It's going to depend on what type of book you're doing, but take into consideration that you do not want to create a 6x9 daily planner that's 300 pages long, because it makes it very, very difficult to write in.
Do you have any idea what the recommended margins are?
You can download a template. I can post a link today for that.
Yeah, that would probably be the best thing. And just make it very easy for people.
Even with the template too, like you guys are, it gets a little confusing because like it's a different language, Here
you go. I posted it in chat, and I'll also post it today.
All right. So
that has all the margins and everything there.
Okay, cool. For research on how to create custom interiors, where's the best place to see what one should look like if you're not familiar with the niche? I mean, we can search on Amazon, but I wonder if there's a place to see what custom interiors need to look like and what should be included. Amazon, like look at where your market is shopping. Like look at the different books within that niche. Like that's part of the research. Like first of all, right, if you're doing custom interiors, you should really be thinking about what is your buyer looking for, what do they want, and make sure that you are trying to meet those needs. So that's like really diving deep into the niche, the research, understanding the niche, understanding font selection, like what does the colors look like, what do the covers look like, how are the pages laid out, how many different variety of pages there are within the book, like all of those questions. Those are things you need to be diving deep into. Did that already here. I don't know the answer to this. Would you use different inner and outer margins on odd and even pages? If so, what sizes would you suggest? No. If you use different ones, that would be like you should just mirror it. Lots of questions about margins that we just covered. When you pick in a clip element that has a white background, can you change that into transparent?
if it's an image like, let me insert a new page here, or we'll just delete this out actually. So let's go ahead and move out these margins if it let me. So if we insert shape, and we'll just do, let's do a lightning bolt here. Yes, you can make this transparent. So transparent here. And then we can make our line as thick as we want, as thin as we want pretty much. But you cannot change like how I inserted, let's see here, how I inserted image, upload from computer. This one, no, this was made in Photoshop. So no, this one cannot like be changed directly on here.
Mm-hmm. Nice, Steve. That's awesome. Okay. Some of these questions are very specific. I created my first interior in PowerPoint the other day. I saved it as a PDF. When I did the letters and words were getting cut off, it was a brush script. When I went to Google look for answers, the PDFs had problems sometimes with certain fonts. Do you guys have any ideas for a fix for this, or I just need to change the font? I would say change the font.
Sounds like we need to get to testing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff is just, it's like experience stuff. It's just playing around with it.
How old are you guys? Huh. Interesting question.
It's an interesting one, yes. If there are questions about things that were done in the video, guys, like just go back and review the video. Lynn, Google Slides is showing up in my Google account, but I see where you can add a page. You have to actually go into Google Slides. You have to open up Google Slides inside of it, and then it's on the left-hand side. Shortcut for copying and pasting copies of pages is Command V. Let's see.
I think we're good here.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything that like stands out.
A lot of things about fonts. Just understand fonts are going to change with a lot of niches, you know, niche to niche to niche. They're probably going to have some changes in fonts. You know, I have a few fonts I use regularly, but they're still going to change. Whether I'm altering them, changing the spacing, there's not usually just like one font I go to and say, I'm using this on all my interiors today.
Yeah, I would say that like get on websites like Dafont, for example, right? DAFONT, and you can look and type in whatever that you're trying to say, whatever the phrase is, and you can just put in a variety of different fonts, and it will show you all of those fonts in that particular phrase. And you can narrow it down based on like serif, sans serif, particular styles. The only way you can get into it, like the only way you can figure this stuff out is by doing it.
Yes.
Will KDP reject PLR planners?
They could.
I mean, KDP on occasion rejects all kinds of stuff. That doesn't mean that's necessarily they can't be used. There's a manual review process in all of this stuff. All right.
Amos, exactly. I created a coloring book for someone for a company. And that's why I said I couldn't show my dashboard. But yes, Google Slides is great for creating your coloring books once your images are done.
Yep, for sure. So I think we're good. I don't see anything else in here that like can't be either figured out very quickly or if you have any other questions, guys, there will be a post for the daily thread. We'll be happy to go over it. Thank you for joining us today. Like I said, I'm going to try and work on getting another example of a video for you. It may not come out today. We have a lot of stuff going on, but I'll talk to my wife and see if we can come up with like a meal tracker or a planner or something like that. Some stuff that we've done before. Thank you for joining us, and we will have the replay up in the membership area fairly quickly. Jacob's going to take care of that. And can you do the post for the daily thread as well?
Yes.
Okay, I got to get out of here.